Welcome, friends, to Finance Working Mama. My name is Heather, and thanks for joining me. Are you looking for a delicious meal that you can feed your family on Sundays, or maybe just a huge crowd? Well, friends, I'm going to share with you today my recipe for Sunday sauce. It only takes a little bit of dollars to make this sauce, and it will feed a crowd, and not one person is going to complain, and they'll actually go back for seconds. Who grew up having Sunday dinner? I can tell you when I was a kid, I loved Sunday dinner because usually it was something special, maybe a little bit more expensive than we used to have during the week. My mom was a working mom, and so obviously budget was important, and quick and fast getting it on the table for us to be fed was important. But Sunday dinners, it was a little bit more time that was taken on the dinner that she was preparing. And Italian always was a favorite. My mom made this delicious marinara sauce that I'm telling you, it is the best. She learned it from her Italian aunt, and then my mother taught it to me. I have a video showing you how I make it. I did the best I can to do the measurements so that you guys, if you wanted to make it yourself, but it feeds a crowd. It really, truly does. And it's just so inexpensive if you're trying to make something special, and it tastes so delicious. And by far, friends, it is the most delicious pasta sauce you put in your mouth. But my mom did not make what is known in a lot of Italian families as Sunday sauce. And a dear, dear client of mine years ago, she was an Italian, grew up in Staten Island, as well as like where my mom's family grew up and where my mother grew up. So we had a lot of things in common, in the fact that like her stories of growing up in Staten Island sort of mirrored the stories that my mom would talk about her childhood, and her parents' childhood and her grandparents' childhood. So I just really enjoyed talking to her, and we were sharing sauce recipes, and she says, well, have you ever made a Sunday sauce? And I said, no, I don't. Isn't it the same as like that other sauce, like the regular marinara sauce? She's like, oh, no, it's different. It's different. And I said, well, what's different about it? And she's like, well, you put meat in it. It's not a meat sauce. It's a thick, hearty sauce with some meat in it. And if you know what I'm talking about with Sunday sauce, or better known in up north, I think they call it gravy. You do have meat in it, but it is not like it's not a meat sauce where it's like half sauce, half meat. And I'll go into what that is a little bit more. But she said it was sort of important as she was growing up, because her mother would go to the butcher and get the inexpensive meats and put in the sauce. And that was a way for them to, and it had to be bones, had to be meat that was on the bones. And she's like, we didn't have a lot of money, and my mother had to be very creative in making delicious foods with inexpensive meats. And she would go and either get pork necks or pork tails and cook them in the Sunday sauce. And y'all are like, ew, what? Y'all, it's pork on a bone. That's just what it was. That's just what it is. But it is a lot of bones and some meat. But what made, with anything, bones that's being cooked and simmered, and then that meat falls off, it's just, I'm telling you, it just makes everything so, so delicious. So one Saturday, I went to her house, and she taught me how to make her Sunday sauce. And it starts with 2 onions diced. And then, of course, about 3 to 4 garlic cloves, depending how much garlic you enjoy or not enjoy. I like to put at least about 5 cloves of garlic in mine, because I like garlic. She did with her heart. She would take like 4 to 6 garlics. They could be small or big, and she would mince it up and throw it in the pot. So you put as much garlic in there as you want. But what makes this important is that it is such a delightful, delicious sauce, and it just makes your house smell so wonderful. but it's inexpensive. You know, she said, we didn't have a lot of money, we had a lot of family, and we had a lot of mouths to feed, and this was a way for us to have a delicious, decadent sauce on Sunday that was very special. And to this day, many houses, especially Italian families, they have a Sunday sauce that they make, and it makes a ton. Usually there's not much left. If you have a crowd, it feeds a lot of people. So that's where it goes into, you can have a delicious Sunday dinner that's really special, but doesn't cost a lot of money. My onions cut up. A pound of sausage, Italian sausage. I got this actually on sale. It is half sweet sausage, half hot sausage, so perfect. And you don't really want to cut them up small. You want them to be still in larger chunks. So I want to just cut them in half. That would be better. Because again, it's not a meat sauce. The meat is flavoring the sauce, and it's just it's accompanying the sauce. Okay, friends, once you have your sausage, remember it's a pound of sausage, Italian sausage. You want to cut them, for me, I want them that size. I don't want them any smaller than that because I want them to stay intact as it's cooked. Now, the other thing that I'm going to make for meat is, this is bone-in pork shoulder country style ribs. Now, I actually do like using pork necks in this. However, it is hard to find. I can't find them. When I do, I buy them and I freeze them. But if you can't find that, this is actually anything with a bone on it, and anything that tastes better as it cooks very slowly, because as it cooks, it's going to break down and just melt into that sauce. So I have got about a pound of these bone-in pork shoulder, which has bones in them. It has nice amount of fat in it because you do want some with fat. You don't want to lean. This is about a decadent, delicious, rich sauce. So I have about a pound of the bone-in pork shoulder cut. So a little bit, well, I don't know, probably about 3 to 4 tablespoons of olive oil. I'm going to get that heated up. To make sure there's enough olive oil at the bottom of that pan to be able to get that beautiful golden brown crisp on your meat. All right, still waiting for that to get heated up. So we're in March, the first week of March here in North Carolina, and guys, we are having 80-degree days. We went from like February, 2 weeks straight of like snow and ice, to now March, 80 degrees, and it is hot. To me, it is hot. Hence the reason why I have my hair up. Because I was like, I cannot cook under a hot stove with hair in my face. So that is the reason why my hair is up. And I mean, I shouldn't complain because it was really, really cold weather. But wow, it is a switch. I can tell you that. All right, looks like it's nice and hot. Add these to the pan. It's an easy recipe to put together, friends. However, you need to take a little time to do it to make sure each step is done correctly. Searing your meat, getting it nice and golden brown, and a little bit of delicious golden crust on it really pays off as this sauce continues to cook. So some people might say, well, what's the difference between Sunday sauce and marinara? Because that was my question. And Sunday sauce is meant to cook slow and low for a very, very long time. Marinara sauce, you let it simmer for an hour or two, and then it's done. It doesn't need to cook over a long period of time. And Sunday sauce has this type of meat in it And the longer that it cooks, the better it gets. That is what you want right there, that nice seared on that sausage on one side, and we are cooking the other side to get it nice and seared on the other side. So the dear sweet lady that taught me this, her name is Mrs. Manza, and she would always say, this dish is the best as you build layers in the pot. So searing your meat, getting that golden brown on the meat, not only does it make the meat taste more delicious, but it also layers your pan with some delicious flavors as you build your sauce. All right, these look nice and done. They're not cooked through, but they're seared enough to where I like the color. Now it is time to sear the boned in pork shoulder. Now it does say I'm going to add some salt and pepper to it. All right, friends. Look at that. That beautiful sear. I seared on both sides. I was patient. This is similar like frying a chicken or like browning chicken that still has the skin on it. The skin will tell you when it's done. It will lift from the pan. Same situation here. The meat will tell you when it's done searing, when it's easily lifted off the pan. There we go. All right, we got that done. Now, the second part, we have, let's see how much salt. Okay, we actually have the perfect amount of oil left in the pan. I would say that is like, there's about 3 tablespoons left in the pan. We're gonna saute the onions. Now this is an important step. She told me it was really, really important to take the time and soften your onions. Make sure that they are translucent before adding the other ingredients. She didn't say that once. She said it 100 times. And I made this sauce with her more than one time because she's like, I don't have measurements, so it's something that you just have to watch me several times. So I've made this sauce with her a good number of times. And I feel like I've done a relatively good job of, I made it for her one time and she's like, I think you nailed it, Heather. I think you got it. So she'd always say, soften your onions, make sure they're translucent. And, you know, the meat took about 15 minutes to sear on both sides. And this is probably going to take you 15 minutes to soften those onions to translucent. Now, I don't throw the garlic into it until it gets towards the end because we don't want the garlic to burn. Garlic just needs to cook till it's fragrant, and then you can start adding the other ingredients. So I don't add the garlic yet. I wait to make sure the onions are nice and cooked to my liking. Then I add the garlic. Love about this sauce. I have a family of 4. I do Sunday dinners, but as of late, because of my kids' activities that fall on Sunday, haven't been able to do a Sunday dinner with friends in a while. We used to do it every Sunday or every other Sunday. But this is one thing I would cook for Sunday dinner, because it made a ton and everyone loved it. Like, they couldn't wait to have it. So my family of 4, we're not going to eat all of the sauce. Now, I'm going to have enough, obviously more than enough tonight for dinner. And I will put some aside and have some more during the week. And then what's left over, I'm going to freeze. And so even better, I'm going to have some in the freezer. And when I pull it out, thaw it, I'll heat it back up, and I'll simmer it low and slow again. So it's really a good sauce as well to freeze. Every family has their own way of cooking Sunday sauce. In the description below, in the comments below, I would love to know. I'm going to show you the ingredients I put in here. Let me know what ingredients you put in your Sunday sauce if you make a Sunday sauce. Would love to know. I have a friend. She puts most of the same things I put in here, except for there's one spice that she doesn't use that I use, but she also puts red wine in hers. And I use red wine in my marinara, but I don't put it in the Sunday sauce. You do want to turn your temperature down. I have it between medium and medium-low because, again, you want the onions to cook slowly and not burn. All right, friends, this is what you want your onions to look like. To help make the process go a little bit faster, you can also add some salt. But just be careful because your cans typically might have a little salt in them as well. So just add a little salt to it. I'm going to add my garlic. I had like 3 wimpy garlic, fresh garlic. I'm going to use those up. And then I'm going to add a little bit of the garlic. Oh, the garlic smells so good, guys. Oh my goodness. And I actually only have a little bit of this garlic left, so I'll just go ahead and use it up. Alright, you just want to stir it in your pan until you smell the garlicness. And that's when you know, alright, we are ready to go to the next step. 24-ounce cans of crushed tomatoes. I'm going to turn this down because I don't want it to spit at me. Alright, this is can 2. No worries, we will get all that goodness that's left in there in just a minute. Get those onions stirred in. Okay, and then you want to use either 4 small cans of tomato paste or 2 large cans of tomato paste. Now, this is the part that I was like, tomato paste? That's a lot of tomato paste. And she says, yes, that makes it a little different from a traditional marinara sauce. I'm not going to question the Italian grandma. I'm just not going to do it. I'm going to follow the rules, follow her recipe. It comes out delicious every time. I haven't had one person say like, oh, it's okay. I even had some Italian friends tell me that, wow, you nailed it. So, my dear friend did not lead me wrong. So, as you can see, friends, that tomato paste makes it really, really thick. Ooh, my pan's hot. Really, really thick. You want to fill each can that you use up with water, swish it around, and then pour it into your sauce. That way you get all the goodness and you're adding some additional water. There you go. All right. Stir, stir, stir. Look at that. All right, now we're going to add the spices. Now, she did about a heavy tablespoon of basil, dry basil. You want to use dried spices in here. Not fresh ones, but dry. Because they do really well cooking in the pot for a very long time. All their flavors get released. So this is all I have left. So that's about a heavy tablespoon in there of basil. And you want to add some oregano. You probably want to add between, I like the flavor of oregano, so I'm going to do about a teaspoon. That's about a teaspoon. Well, there we go. That's about a teaspoon of oregano. The one thing we had in common is she also uses ground savory in her marinara sauce. And she's the only person I've met that has mentioned that she uses the sauce. This spice particularly. It's hard to find. We used to find it in the grocery store. A lot of places. I actually had to find this on Amazon. But ground savory, she put it in a marinara sauce as well as her Sunday, in her Sunday sauce. And she put in about a half a teaspoon in there. Get it all in your hands, off your hands. Okay. Now what I was really surprised is she didn't put in rosemary. She said rosemary had no business in a Sunday sauce. So she just, no, not happening. And the other thing I thought was awfully, the other spice that I thought was interesting is she put in a couple bay leaves. I'm like, oh, okay. A couple bay leaves. There you go. Do some cracked pepper. I think as much cracked pepper as you like. I'm going to do 3 tablespoons of sugar. That's right, I said sugar. There you go. So, about a tablespoon, a heavy tablespoon of dried basil, a teaspoon of dried oregano, then about a teaspoon and a half, or a half a teaspoon of ground savory, pepper to taste, 2 bay leaves, and 3 tablespoons of sugar. That is all the delicious ingredients that go into the sauce. Now, she also said to take some baking soda and sprinkle a little in there. She says this helps with the acidity. Just a sprinkle. That's all you need. All right, friends, once you have all the spices and the tomato sauce, crushed tomatoes and tomato paste mixed in here with the water, then you want to put your meat back in. All the meats. I'm also going to do one more thing. She told me if you're fortunate to have some beef bones, put it in there as well. We had some porterhouses. I'm taking the bones and sticking them in the sauce as well. This one actually has more meat on it. Shocked that we didn't scrape it, cut all that delicious meat off, but it would be great. She said beef bones, if you can find them, get them. Or if you have a chuck roast with a bone, save it and put it in your Sunday sauce with your other meats, and it will just make your sauce even more decadent. Now, that is a lot. It is filled to the brim. So what you want to make sure you do is get it to simmer, then you want to crack it. Okay, friends, when you start seeing the simmering bubbles come up, that is when you want to put your lid on it, but you just want to crack it. Crack it. Don't leave it this way or close it. You want a little bit of a crack. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. And then you want to turn your stove down to low and cook it for as long as you possibly can. I would say at least a minimum of at least 5 hours. More is better. After 7 hours of cooking, slow cooking, I have started some pasta on the stove, and I have pulled out all of the bones from the meat, the pork, and the steak. And friends, you just load your pasta onto a plate and put all that delicious sauce on top of that pasta. Make sure you include a couple pieces of meat. Dredge it with your favorite Italian cheese and serve it with delicious garlic toast. What do you think, babe?
Very good.
How's the Sunday sauce?
Excellent, good. I like the Sunday sauce. Got a lot of flavors going in there. Very, very good.
All the meats. We had steak, bones, all of it.
Sausage. Sausage, steak. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of flavor in there. That's more than just ragu.
Out of the jar.
Exactly. I guess I probably should say that's more than just out of the jar sauce.
Yes. Is it appropriate for Sunday dinner?
It very much is. Yes.
Yes.
That's good.
Highly recommend y'all to save your beef bones for dishes like this. My dear friend said, Heather, I just feel adding a beef bone to the Sunday sauce puts a different depth of flavor in it, and I do have to agree. So if you're making steaks with beef on it, if you have chuck roast with bones on it, or steak with bones on it, save them, freeze them. I save all ham bones and beef bones, just mainly because of this recipe right there. If you want to try it, and you're like, I don't know where to get beef bones, I don't have any frozen, you can go to your butcher. Sometimes they'll give it to you for free. Sometimes they'll charge you a couple bucks for them. Last time I went, I paid like $2 and something cents for like a package of beef bones that has lasted me for a long time. So I would encourage that as well. I hope that this gives you a good idea that you can feed your family as well as entertain other links of family, whether that's friends or actually family themselves, in your house for just pennies on the dollar for each serving. I can tell you this pot of sauce comfortably feeds 12 adults and 3 children with leftovers. I promise you. I've done it a numerous amount of times. It's one of the most requested dinners. I say, what do you want me to make? They're like, oh, can you make your Sunday sauce? So it's not that jar of spaghetti and pasta you throw together at the middle of the week because 1, you're tired, 2, it's cheap. It's going to be a different flavor. I promise you. It's going to be worth it. And oh my goodness, it won't disappoint. It won't disappoint. You can buy all the ingredients, the crushed tomatoes, the tomato paste, even some Parmesan with a couple loaves of the French bread you buy at the deli or the bakery at Walmart, and a couple bags of salad because it's Sunday. Let's not take your time making a salad. Just go ahead and buy it. All of it will come under $40. Easy. So you could feed 12 adults and 3 children. I know I've done it time and time again for under $40. Friends, you can't go anywhere and spend $40 to feed that many people. You just can't. And everyone's going to love it. And it is to die for. And it's going to make your house smell, oh, fantastic. It's going to make it smell like your childhood. I know it does for me because my mom used to make tomato sauce on Sundays as well. Well, friends, if you haven't already, would love for you to subscribe to see me in future videos and you there as well. And gosh, I'm telling you, let me know if you make Sunday sauce, or as they say up north, gravy. What do you put in yours? What just makes it the best? Everyone has their own recipe. Love to know what you put in yours. Share with the crowd. I think, sharing is caring. Would love to know. Friends, thank you so much for joining me, and make sure you stay safe and most importantly, stay encouraged.